My name is Amy Howton, and I am the Assistant Director and the Sexual Assault Response Coordinator in the Women's Center. I've been here for 8 years, and I have to say I love my job. I came to Cincinnati for the grad program, the MA program in Women's Studies, and I was a GA throughout my grad program. And after I graduated, I went into the counseling program, got my license in counseling, and at the time I was working for the Community Rape Crisis and Abuse Center, which was then Women Helping Women and has returned to its original Women Helping Women name. So I was doing advocacy and crisis intervention for women and kids who experience sexual assault, intimate partner violence, and stalking. And I knew even when I was going through the counseling program that I didn't just want to do clinical work. Advocacy is really important to me. I knew I wanted to stay in higher ed because I love being on a college campus. I love just continuing to learn is really important to me. And so when I found out about this job opening in the Women's Center, I was like, oh my gosh, this would be a perfect fit. Because it just combines everything that I feel really passionate about. I can teach, I continue to do like education and training, I also work individually with students, and then I work on various kinds of systems, so working to basically improve our campus response to sexual assault. So yeah, I came over and interviewed, and when I first came to the Women's Center, I just knew right away that it was going to be a great fit. It's just a really dynamic group of people working, really for social justice and committed to students' learning and to their own learning. Being on a college campus, like I said, is great. UC is a wonderful university, really diverse, interesting campus, and so yeah, so that's really how I got here. The Women's Center is a good place for students to come for a lot of reasons. For one, we offer really important services, like those I've already talked about related to sexual assault, that kind of crisis intervention, good first place to go if you're trying to gather information about what options are, not just related to sexual assault, but really anything. I think the other really great thing about the Women's Center is it's a place to come to kind of continue the learning that you do in the classroom. So to continue those conversations that either you would like to have and can't have for whatever reason in the classroom, to build those relationships. If you find that you're really starting to get interested in social justice, you're wanting to continue to learn how to develop as a leader, as an activist, this is the place to come, to build those relationships, to not only for your own self-development, but to learn what other people are doing who are like-minded, who are committed to the same kinds of issues. The staff, I can genuinely say, we are right there with the students. Like, we're still continuing to learn. We're having these conversations among ourselves all the time. So I think for those reasons, it's a dynamic, safe place to come and continue to grow. I think, a lot of times, particularly when it comes to the services, I don't think people really think about the Women's Center or know about the Women's Center or even interested in the Women's Center until something happens to them, until they're sexually assaulted, until they experience some form of gender-based violence or sexual harassment or a hate crime or something like that, and then they look for resources. I think that with more students getting interested in activism, and the more the Women's Center ourselves is committed to doing that, and we've established new programs that really focus on that for students. I think students are more and more realizing that we are a place to come, not just after the fact, but really as a place to learn about themselves and to think about issues critically, to think about how to get involved. And so I think in particular this year we've really seen an increase in student involvement. And it's so exciting. And I think the more students get involved, the more excited we are, so the more programs we're generating. Just like this, this very interview kind of process. I think, so yeah, the more people that get involved, the more momentum there is, and then the more we continue to do. So I think it only builds, What I envision for the Women's Center in the near future is with increased student involvement, and I think the more students are invested in the Women's Center, I see this as really a place that students come with ideas for programs that they want to see happen, and we support them in the development of those programs. So really, students are running programs. I'm thinking stuff like art. I would love to have like this art show. Students are so creative with all these amazing ideas. I would love for the Women's Center to be a place that really showcases what students are doing on campus in terms of their own activism, their own academic research, their own student development. I think if we could be that place that really highlights what students are doing on this campus, I think that could be really exciting. And I see it in our future. I mean, it's like right there.